Hi everyone, my name is Tiwari and today I'll be guiding you through a meditation where we focus on intention. Now, intention is such an important word because it should be at the forefront of why we do everything in our lives, right? I think sometimes we are on autopilot and we aren't thinking about why we're doing something. And maybe that's that we're just agreeing to go and see friends even though we don't really want to, or we're not feeling too well, or doing something that's out of habit that actually you don't really want to do, or you don't even realize that you're doing, but it's just a habit of you doing it and having done that, whatever that might be, for such a long time. And so if we take this all back to intention, intention is really powerful, and we can transform our lives by being more intentional with the choices that we make, with the actions that we take, with the words that we speak, not just outside, but also within our heads. And we're going to focus really on how we can change our intentions after we become aware of what our intentions are. So when you're ready, you can do this lying down or you can do this in a comfortable seat. Whatever works best for you, just get really comfortable. And I really encourage you for this, if you would like, you can bring a pen and paper and you can make down some notes, just so that we take this practice away from when you're just doing this video with me, and how can you kind of come back to these things later on in your day and your everyday life. So let's set the tone. Let's just close our eyes and take a moment to absorb all of that information on what intention is and what it means to be intentional in our lives. And maybe you can start by having a little think about whether you have some intentions that you stick to and that you focus on when you carry out certain tasks in your day. And if you do, just making a note, either writing it down or thinking in your head, what are those intentions? What's the reason? What's your why? And if you don't have that, that's okay, but just being aware that you don't have kind of key things that you're focusing on, key intentions in your life, just being aware of that as well. And there might be some ways of living that you'd like to implement, and this might be a good time to set a new intention. So maybe having a think, if you don't have one, what would it be? And if you're feeling a little stuck about what I mean when I say intention, it could be a number of things. You might want to have more peace in your life. You might want to feel a bit more calm in your day-to-day. And so your intention could be perhaps to slow things down. Perhaps you notice that your life is very fast-paced, and actually you could look at each task that you do with the intention of not having that speed and actually being more patient with the task at hand and with yourself. So maybe patience is your intention. So therefore, everything that you approach where you usually speed through it and you usually maybe get frustrated, you can actually keep coming back to that word, patience. The intention for this is to be patient. That's just an example. You might have a different word in your head, but it's really about coming to a one word that resonates best with you, and all of us will be different. And for that reason, I choose to not give you that word. I really encourage you to think about what it would be for you. So just bring that back to the forefront of your mind, that one word. What's your intention? How do you want to live your life? What do you want to get out of your life? How do you want to come across to other people in your conversations, in your communications? How do you want to come across to yourself in your thoughts, in the way that you speak to yourself? Are there any changes that you'd like to make? Just digging deep. Allow yourself to be vulnerable with yourself and honest and truthful. In this practice, we don't expect anyone to turn up and be perfect, but just to observe where you're at, what stage are you at, and what stage would you like to get to? And if anything is really jumping into your mind, feel free to grab that pen and paper and write it down. It might be a few words, it might be a situation, a particular person, and just jot that down, just so that when we open our eyes in a short while, you can kind of come back to that and have a time to just think and dig a little bit deeper into that as well. Because in our practice, things do come up. It's like the waves of an ocean, things are going over and over, and a few commonalities may arise, and it's important that we recognize what it is that keeps coming to the surface of the ocean if our mind was to represent an ocean, instead of just pushing it back to the depths of the ocean where it's going to keep coming back up. So how can we acknowledge in meditation, guided meditation, breathing deeply, these practices, they all help us get there. So just sticking with your thoughts, just sticking them out, try not to suppress them. What's your intention? Why is that your intention? And what are the small steps you can put in place to fulfill that intention in your everyday? And when you're ready, I invite you to just bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Maybe turning the head from left to right, and maybe deepening the breath. Let's all together take a big breath in, and a gentle sigh out, let it go. And then slowly blink the eyes open and come back to the room. And just notice, just watch what came up for you. If you'd like to now, pop something down on a piece of paper, do so. And try and encourage this side of you where you explore, where we don't get stuck in our autopilot lives, but we explore what's happening in our life. Why is this going in this direction? Do you notice a trend or a pattern? Is there a way that you could shift your perspective and you could change things up? I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned something. Please feel free to come back to it whenever you'd like to, and I'll see you again in the next class.